Introduce yourself and
Billy Bryce, most of you know me.
We do.
I'm the vice president of the fire department out there. And this is Jill Harris, she's the treasurer, so she's with the numbers here. But we are asking for, we're trying to get some small increase, because I pay taxes in this district too, so I don't want to go, don't have to. But our budget is, we're so tight, we're not be able to have our trainings, like our driving training and everything else like you need. And work the costs going up. Everything going up. So what we're asking for is, what is it, 4 cents? We're asking for $4 on the 100,000 to try to just help offset some of the costs. We're not able to do all our services, as I say, workers' comp's going up, property insurance, just everything in general, and fuel costs. It takes a part of it. We have a pretty good amount of good people out there, and we are all volunteer fire department. So nobody gets paid for us. We might be somebody, but our call volume is not like theirs is, but we have some real steep mountains to pull and climb and do some stuff too. So
you had 113 call plans.
Yeah. We run about 100 to 120 on average. That's about 4 or 5 years. And most of them, I say, summertime's coming along, so we're going to see quite a few motorcycle wrecks again. We know where to go. We get motorcycle wreck, or we get the curve up there. And then we have structure called chicken pen or something. We are you're hard to get to. And we need to have some more driver training. So we just don't have the fun and stuff. Now we do a lot for the community too. And we have a blood drive once a year for the community and everything else like that. Try to get everybody involved. I ain't got a big presentation. We just need the help.
What's your current rate?
We're our tax rate is 7.6, I think.
So you want to go from 0.076 to 0.077?
Well, we're going 4.
So it's 0.076 to
0.8. Which is, I think, overall that you budget anything increases our totals like $4,000 is what we're trying to do. So we're about less than 3% total what we're after. Because
you're 0.7. What are the 77?
that's what we're trying to get up to 0.8. We do 3. Okay, because I say I pay taxes in that district and everything too, but I also want to know that everybody that's responded has been trained to the fullest, and we have the right equipment. Because we have been able to replace quite a bit of our fire gear the last few years for these states. Each fireman you gear up, it's usually about $9,000 to $10,000 for this stuff. So
Billy, just to make sure I have the right numbers, your requested rate is going to be 0.08.
What's your way?
I've got 107.
I think that's it.
Yeah, I think it's 0.07.
Yeah. So it's not 2 to 3% or something like that.
And your ISOs and that?
We're not. We'd like to work on that, but it costs a lot of money to work on that too. A lot of money.
How much is have we got the substation up and going?
Substation's up and going, it's going real good, and that's one of the problems. When we built the substation, we was taking into account that wildflower was going to be booming. You know how that worked out for us. Worked out for everybody. Boom. It is starting to pick up a little bit. I have seen some movement up in there now, and any movement would be greatly helped everybody, county and us too. But whenever we built wildflower in 06, I guess it was, we was taking the substation up on good people, which that has made a big difference on our response time for, especially for bigger turn wrecks and stuff like that, or even up the head of Watauga. We can go right in there real easy with truck, and we ain't got to pull that mountain to get trucked out. So that's been a lifesaver on a few things.
And how many active firemen do you have down there?
40 on the rock. That's probably
How many active?
Active, that's probably 30 active out of that. That's about average. Yeah.
At one time you were struggling, I know.
Oh, yeah, everybody does sometimes. Yeah. But all of a sudden, we just hit a good,
Do you have a good junior fireman
oh,
program?
you have a good junior fireman.
That's the
In
key.
fact, some of the Cavalier guys was complimenting their junior firemen. We trained together and everything, and they were working real good. So, yeah, we got a bunch of young juniors that like to help do fundraisers too and stuff, so we like that.
I think a couple of things. By you coming here today, this is going to be obviously put up by our media.
Yeah.
And you have opportunity, as we will, to hear from folks. And I personally think we need to do that. We need to get some input. And, Jim would be unfair to ask you as liaison to get with the manager or maybe Ward and take a look at these and see if there's any other questions we need answered and maybe come to a recommendation.
Not at all. I'm going to reiterate what Commissioner Higgins said. I think down the road, we're going to have to look at it somewhere. Let's look at. I'm just going to throw out this area. Look at Highlands tax rate, 0.009. And if you're on Buck Creek Road, about Eisenhower's Trout Pond, one side of the road, your tax rate is less than a penny. Other side of the road, it's 0.042. Just because of where that simple little line's from, your tax.
Well, I said is, if throw it out, if you go to one rate for everybody, obviously that's a great deal for most of us, Franklin, and not such a great deal for you guys.
Let me throw out the big C word. Well, is there any board countywide semi-consolidation? We saw it in our schools. I mean, I put you on the spot.
Yes, but it would be different. Everybody gets caught, and I'll wait paper on that.
Or if you want to bring it up at a later time, I don't mean to push
Now
that.
first. People have talked about it before, the rumors have always been around about a countywide fire department. I do not think that'll work in Macon County. I think geographically, there's too much difference. I think economically, there's too much difference. I don't think that'll work. You'll never get a DeKalb County style of fire department in Macon County.
And what the difficulty with that would be, going back to your, even though, like I say, we're both a 9, but you folks, distance from the fire department is what determines a whole lot of that, as far as insurance company. How far is it? Is it 5 miles more?
The other difficulty you have now, you could possibly do some combination stuff. Maybe you have some joint agreements. Maybe somebody decided to work together and somebody mutually decided to combine and you set a rate. That's highly possible. However, it becomes increasingly difficult. For instance, let me use Franklin as an example. I'll be glad I don't think it. We have an insurance rating rate of 3 inside the city and a 4 in rural, up to the 5 mile district, and 5 to 6 mile we have a 9. We had to work really hard to get that 3 and that 4. When you start adding land area into those folks, if we were to try and encompass, this will be all over the paper, Matt, but let's just say Franklin and Clark Chapel wanted to combine. And we wanted to come together with the same service, the same rate. We, as a department, would have to re-rate and put the rating on the table for the folks inside the city limits and the folks in the rural area of Franklin. We might not get a 4 back. We might end up with a 5 because of the distance we have to cover and the process to go through to get that rating. It's not impossible, Paul. It is not impossible. However, it is a very tricky situation to maneuver without penalizing some folks that may have a certain rating with a certain rate unfairly while trying to bring some other folks into the fold to save some money somewhere. It would be done, but it is difficult.
Could possibly do some, I don't think you would prefer to physically combining, but combining resources, combining purchasing.
Purchasing,
Utilizing the facilities we have. I mean, we're heavily invested in all these.
one of the suggestions that I have, and this manage your resources correctly, everybody doesn't need to do everything. Do not send Franklin Fire Rescue to any kind of water rescue. We don't do it. We don't want to do it. We don't need to do that. We don't do highway control as well as some of these other folks that do with county. We do fire, we do big fire, and we do big electrification. We do those really well. I think there needs to be some joint agreements between the fire departments to say, okay, we're gonna specialize, we're gonna do the road rescue. You don't want Franklin Fire Department to come try and climb off a cliff somewhere. We don't do that. If we can't reach with a ladder, we can't get it. Put your money into certain areas, specialize, do those things that are special to your areas. Do what your community needs. County Fire Department needs water rescue, so they got a river there. That's what they do. Parks Chapel does brush fires. They do brush fires. Alto does searches really well. Specialize in those things that you can do really well. Start with that and then see where you go over the next few years and grow your system into something that's manageable financially.
Mr. Chairman, you gotta remember, with all that being said, and I think that is something that certainly Mr. Tate will look at along with manager and more. If you took the total budget, $2,767,000, and you multiply that by the number of volunteer firemen we have, it's still over $6,000 a fireman. You put those folks on the payroll Monday morning, see where that number goes to. So it's still the best deal in the county. It's one of the best deals in this county. For $6,500 for a fireman for this county, volunteer fireman, for the hours they have to put in. What's the training now, Mason? How many hours?
Minimum for the state fire marshal's office, 36 hours. However, most departments are requiring 12 days.
So they've invested the time, and so just to put in perspective what it cost, what it could cost.
And that as well does not include the medical hours. That's fire.
That's fire. So it's still a pretty good deal.
Anything else, Bill? No, we appreciate everything you guys can do to help us, because I know it's hard on you and Stu, it's hard on us too. This economy's rough. Thank you for the time.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Again, I would suggest, I know I'm not the person prepared to say that, you got to do it.
Appreciate you, man.
Again, the guys about it. Come to us with some kind of recommendation. Thank you.